A decade on from the death of Michael Jackson, a new documentary details allegations made by two men against the famous king of pop. Both men allege that he groomed and sexually abused them. Michael Jackson isn't here to defend himself, but his family vehemently deny those claims. We're joined by Taj Jackson, the nephew of Michael Jackson, for one-on-one.
And nothing in that settlement stopped Geordie Chandler from actually testifying in '94 or 2005. So the media said it's hush money, but if it's something that you can't stop them from testifying, then who are you hushing?
But do you understand how it looks?
Yes, because the media has run with that headline. Of course, Michael Jackson pays a settlement. They don't say what the settlement was for. And in that settlement, my uncle claims no wrongdoing of sexual abuse.
Now, back to Wade. Look, he said that Michael was one of the most kind, gentle, caring people who helped him creatively, but also sexually abused him. So he's not, even when he's accusing him of sexual abuse, he's also praising him and his character.
Yeah. Well, I think what's interesting is that it's a tactic of using a positive to get people to a truth, basically. Him saying Michael was caring and all that stuff. You as a viewer, and I know these tricks because I'm a director, you as a viewer, you're drawn in and you're like, oh my gosh, I see his truth. I believe him. And then you're more susceptible to believe a lie that comes after.
The documentary is quite graphic,
yes.
and there's a lot of details. Like they describe locks on Michael's door, they describe bells in the hallway. If someone was coming, does that strike a chord with you? Do you remember any of that?
Yeah, I do. And I actually remember when there weren't bells and alarms in the hallways. And my uncle would always complain that people were eavesdropping on him, you know. But to the outside world, it looks like, oh, it's an alarm system. No, it was because, you know, when you're Michael Jackson, you know, and you're a maid or you're this or that, your story is worth $200,000. And there's been proven facts where people have been paid upwards to $200,000 for a Michael Jackson story.
Do you think the motive is purely financial?
I would hope not. I don't want to be that cynical, but I can tell you, I've seen people around my uncle for, you know, 30-something years, and there's something about Michael Jackson that you just look at as money. And I think that's a difference, you know, with kids, is that kids don't want anything from you. They just want friendship. They just want to have fun. But once you become an adult and you have to work or you have to pay bills, you start thinking about money. You start thinking about, how am I going to pay this or pay that? And he didn't, every time he let himself in that world, people took advantage of him.
But Wade and James are not making any money off this documentary.
Well, that's one of the biggest lies, because they have an appeal right now in court for hundreds of millions of dollars against the estate. So they say they're not making any money, but if this works to their advantage, they have a very good possibility of bringing up that appeal case.
But why are you defending him? Are you set to benefit financially because if his legacy is damaged?
Well, it's a relative of mine. It's my uncle Michael, and I wouldn't be here if I truly didn't 100%, you know, 1,000% believe that he was innocent. But financially, I don't get anything from this. His kids get something because they're the estate. So I'm here just to defend my uncle.
Some people are going to watch this documentary and they will be convinced.
Most people will.
It is very powerful. There's a description of a mock wedding where he presents a ring that Michael had given to him. So he talks about being in love, that Michael said that they were in love. That's going to sway a lot of people. And although you were around your uncle, you weren't there.
But there's a reason in court why hearsay is not allowed. And that's the thing. My uncle's not here to defend himself. And it's like, imagine going to court and you only hear the prosecution side, you know, and they make a strong case. I've done it. I've been in court, and you're like, oh my God, we're in trouble, you know. But then the defense comes, and they start poking holes at things. We were never allowed that opportunity to do.
And I also understand the family is suing HBO?
No, the estate.
The estate is suing
The
HBO.
family doesn't get anything from anything. We're here to defend them because we know, I know my uncle, they know their brothers.
And you believe that both Wade and James, because you've said that Wade has this history and you've picked holes in his story, but why James? What does James want from this?
Well, they both have the same lawyer, first of all. James discovered that he was abused after seeing Wade on Matt Lauer. So, and then he hired the same lawyer. So for me, it's a piggyback situation. The reason I've attacked Wade more is because I know Wade. You know, I don't feel comfortable attacking someone that I don't know.
He dated your cousin, was it?
He dated my cousin for over 7 years. And it's really interesting because they left that out of the story. And he dated her during the time period that supposedly he's getting molested by my Uncle Michael, which I think is ridiculous, especially since my Uncle Michael was the one that basically brought them together. And so it throws off the whole narrative, you know, of Michael Jackson wanting him only for him, or Michael Jackson taught him to hate women. Well, he introduced him to Brandy. He basically set them up. Feel comfortable attacking someone that I don't know.
He dated your cousin, was it?
He dated my cousin for over 7 years. And it's really interesting because they left that out of the story. And he dated her during the time period that supposedly he's getting molested by my Uncle Michael, which I think is ridiculous, especially since my Uncle Michael was the one that basically brought them together. And so it throws off the whole narrative, you know, of Michael Jackson wanting him only for him, or Michael Jackson taught him to hate women. Well, he introduced him to Brandy. He basically set them up.
And I think that's the most startling thing.
We can do it for all the money in the world. I don't think so. If you show me the man, then I will sell him. If you ask me to lie, then I will tell him. If it's really my God, then you will help him. You would do anything for money. Anything for money. Die for you, die for you. You can sell my soul to the devil.
Talk to me about the court cases,
yeah,
and some of the scrutiny that Michael Jackson was put under, because some people won't know.
No, they won't. I mean, well, first of all, they've always, and I don't want to say bend the law, but they've always used the law to their advantage in terms of the prosecution. My uncle was one of the most sought out because people could build a career off of it. So Tom Sneddon, the DA at the time, he was completely after my uncle, to the point where, you know, the 1993 allegations, they were going to allow the civil case to go before the criminal case, which is unheard of and is actually illegal now. And so when we talk about settlement, my uncle just wanted to get that out of the way. The civil case, he was prepared to do the criminal, but then, you know, in 2005, Tom Sneddon, he made a law, well, he helped pass a law that basically said the Bad Prior Acts kind of thing, to allow 1993 to be used as evidence. So he's gone beyond his way to try and destroy my uncle.
I also understand that Michael Jackson's property was raided.
Raided twice, yeah, and Havenhurst was unannounced both times. And that's the thing, when something's unannounced, I mean, we're all good people, but, you know, if you have a 10-year FBI investigation and you have a raid that just goes through all your stuff, You know, that's what happened to my uncle, and they didn't find one single thing to charge him on. And that's the thing that people don't get.
Может, он забыл, что ты сказала, или человек, человек говно. Просто человек, просто человек, просто человек, человек говно. Просто человек, просто человек, просто человек, человек говно. Вот уже и дождик стучит по крышам, и влюбленные спешат в кино. Может быть, тебя он и не услышал, или человек, человек говно. Просто человек, просто человек, просто человек, человек говно. Просто человек, просто человек, просто человек, человек говно. Земля, и порой бывает, с нами жизнь играет в домино, и всегда чего-то не хватает, чтобы вдруг понять, человек говно. Просто человек, просто человек, просто человек, человек говно. Просто человек, просто человек, просто человек, человек говно.